Well, the new DCU kicks off in just 9 days. And James Gunn comments once again about that Batman 2 script. On November 1st, 2022, James Gunn, along with Peter Safran, became co-CEOs of DC Studios, assigned with the immense challenge of what was originally called a soft reboot of the newly labeled DCU, as opposed to the previously named DCEU, which was once kinda sorta helmed by Zack Snyder. I say kinda sorta because Zack was never really given the true freedom or control to create his vision as he intended it to be. The ever-changing WB heads wanted Zack to create the MCU too, and badly. And too quickly, I might add. So much so that they couldn't, or should I say wouldn't, stay out of Zack's kitchen, and as so many people are fond of saying these days, simply let the man cook. But that's all water on the WB bridge now. We already know the story. And so now, as I previously stated, we have Gunn and Safran. More so Gunn, because let's face it, even if Peter Safran is highly involved in the day-to-day running of the DC Studios machine, which I'm sure that he is somehow, he sure as hell never shows it. I've just come to the conclusion that Safran is just a behind-the-scenes kind of guy who doesn't care for the spotlight very much, while little Jimmy Gunn, well, he feeds off of it. Most narcissists do. He craves attention, and no one will ever convince me otherwise. The man always turns things around to being about him and what he's doing, planning, thinking, and saying. He does no wrong, and if he does or is questioned about anything, he sure as hell never seems to own up to it. At least not when he's questioned on social media. He tends to go on the defense, and many times sarcastically, but hey, that's Gunn, and it seems to be working for him. For now, at least. Because he is basically making every single decision there is when it comes to the running and the creating over at DC Studios. And I say this because he always answers questions in the terms of me and or I, never we or us. And if you don't believe me, then spend an entire afternoon on social media looking up his responses. But that's just little Jimmy Gunn, I guess. He's a one-string banjo, one-man DC kind of band. So here we are, just 9 days away from the inaugural launch of Gunn's Creature Commandos on Max, a DC series that many say resembles nothing more than an animated version of the Suicide Squad. And even though Gunn says Superman is the true start of everything when it comes to the new DCU, the DCU is in fact starting with Creature Commandos. Because Superman, as we all know, does not hit the big screen until July of next year. That's 7 long months, or 227 days, if you prefer. And those days, months, whatever, will seem like years if Commandos and the up-and-coming trailer for Superman does not impress the ever-loving asses off of everyone. And honestly, I hope that they do, regardless of what I think of James Gunn and his style of filmmaking. Because even though I hate the idea of the DCU becoming more like Marvel, which I truly think is where it's headed, the DCU fans deserve to see a DCU success story. Otherwise, we will just see reboot after reboot, and I don't think anybody really wants to see that. Now, elsewhere in the land of DC, there seems to be some major Elseworlds concern for those that are waiting ever so patiently to see the sequel to Matt Reeves' The Batman, and for a few reasons. First, there's some confusion about the script being done. Reeves said back in September that it was done, and recently James Gunn begged to differ, saying that the story was mistaken. And then do we not only have Jeffrey Wright commenting a few days ago that he has yet to have any real conversations with Matt Reeves about the film, they only have this. Robert Pattinson supposedly is signing on to do a film with Christopher Nolan, set to be released in November of 2026, which obviously is a big red flag of concern because, as we all know, the Batman 2 is slated to be released in October of the very same year. How in the hell Nolan and Reeves will both squeeze out 2 major motion pictures with the same star 1 month after another? Well, that's anybody's guess. Unless, of course, one of those dates, well, they're wrong. Or a certain script to a certain DC film is in fact not finished or is being reworked somehow. Who knows? Not me, that's for sure, but it certainly leaves one open to speculation now, doesn't it? Now, it's fair to say that Gunn has recently refuted any claims of the Batman 2 being canceled by saying simply that, like, why would you even believe a rando on social networking? If it was canceled, it would be canceled. Who has time for charades? I've been one of Matt's biggest fans for years. We are eagerly awaiting his script. Well, I'll tell you why people believe and or think it, little Jimmy. Because Matt Reeves apparently told Entertainment Weekly on September 20th of this year that the script was in fact finished, and then you yourself just recently said that it wasn't. Or was it that, as you say, simply some other rando over on social media? Maybe you should take it up with Entertainment Weekly, Mr. Gunn. Well, that's it for today, folks. Feel free to leave any comments and or concerns that you may have down below. And if you like today's show, why don't you think about hitting that like button, subscribing so you don't miss the next one. As always, thanks for stopping by. God bless. And socks out.